Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fortress Comic News, episode 283. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my magnificent co-host, Mike. What's up, Mike?
Hey, everybody. We're gonna remember right from the gates, right from the get-go. We have an interview today. Dan Price with Bigfoot Knows Karate. So I won't be there for it, but we do have it. It is here.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's good stuff. Dan Price is a good dude.
I mean, Bigfoot Knows Karate. Come on, it sounds awesome. Other than that, not a whole lot of stuff going on. Comic book wise, haven't been to a comic book shop in a while. I did get a Steam Deck finally.
Oh,
So ordered it reserved it, pre-ordered it about, I don't know, 6 months ago, and I just got the email. At first it said they told me on Steam it'll come in September, and then I got an email a day later, so I purchased it, and now I'm waiting for it to ship to me. It should be here next week, so pretty pumped for that because I do travel quite a bit and I miss playing a lot of my PC games. So
that's nice. I've heard people that got it. I really liked it.
Yeah. It's I really didn't find anything bad about it from the people that were getting them. They're like, yeah, I believe the hype, and it's really no downside to it. And for me, I just don't want to carry my personal laptop with me when I'm traveling, so this completely eliminates that.
Yeah, I feel you there. Similar, I went to Walmart to go grocery shopping, and I've been looking at these. You've heard of the Backbone?
No.
So the Backbone's a thing you can hook up to your phone, and it works as a think of the Switch where it's just two controllers that flip to the side of your phone, and it turns into a handheld gaming thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And their Razer makes one called the Kishi.
Okay.
And so, long story short, I've been looking at all these different ones they make because you can do remote play with your PlayStation and with your Xbox and stuff.
Damn.
And they go for $100 to $200. So I haven't pulled the trigger on one. Well, I'm walking through Walmart and I'm just kind of looking through things, and hey, they have the new Kishi and it's on rollback for $40. I was like, fuck.
Oh shit.
So I picked it up, and it's it's fine. I was playing football or watching football and playing Temtem earlier, just kind of grinding out my characters. So it was nice for that, but it was a cool little addition to my gaming family.
Cool. I haven't heard of those yet. Yeah,
because
neat.
Backbone did one with Sony, so it's made to look like a Sony controller. And then the Kishi is actually with Microsoft, so it's an Xbox controller.
Oh, it's an Xbox controller? Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And then it's Razer, so they have to up the price twice the amount it should be.
Yeah, which is why when I found it for $40, I was like, ooh, look at that.
But, you gotta grab that shit, yeah.
Honestly, the Razer one was one of the cheaper ones, but it's also fairly highly rated for how much it cost.
Yeah.
The Backbone was almost $200.
I mean, I say that as I have a Razer mouse keyboard case. I have it all. I'm really, I forget what they call those people. There's the Corsair people and the Razer people, but I think
my brother's hates Razer stuff, but all of my computer stuff is Razer. My headset's Razer for my gaming.
I think it's funny too, because the argument for both sides, the people that hate Corsair and love Razer, and the people that hate Razer and love Corsair, are just the service sucks. And I'm never had an issue. The only I've had issues with my keyboard breaking back when I was playing Dota, but I haven't had any issues now, and I've had to replace a mouse here and there or another keyboard after a few years. But I was playing so much Dota that when the keyboard finally broke, I was like, yeah, that's about right.
That's because you were having such a bad time. You're just smashing your keyboard.
Yeah, I'm smashing it. But no, I mean, pressing a button a million times, you know what I mean? And it finally breaks. I'm like, that's pretty good quality assurance. I don't know any other product I've used that much where I was and I didn't even try to contact support because it was just I mean, this investment I made years later, it finally broke.
I'm just not I need the top of the line kind of guy, but I do to have everything be the same.
Same.
So like as soon as I got like the keyboard and I liked it, I was like, okay, then a mouse is a mouse for me because I don't game on my computer.
Right.
And then from there, it was just like, okay, everything's Razer, I guess.
Yeah.
As much thought as I put into it.
Yeah. And at the time, they didn't have a Razer, or I do like the Corsair headphones better than the Razer because I don't like the Razer one's like round. I don't like that.
No.
And then I have the Corsair headset holder because it's RGB, and Razer did not have one at the time. Yeah, but they do have one now, so at some point I'm going to have to upgrade, but I have no need, so...
Yeah. My other thing is I like everything wired. I'm still like behind everybody in this adapting wireless technology.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's not really related to comics, but people collect them and shit like comics. There's the whole custom keyboard people that like build their own keyboards, and they're worth like thousands and thousands of dollars, and they like keep them in a glass case and don't use them. I think that's interesting because it's like a hobby of like building the things, but like when you have like so many of them, it's like you should use a couple of them, right? Like,
yeah, and like at what point? I guess if you like having it around, you're not wasting money. But at what point are you just like, I have this thing that nobody else wants,
right? At least like I could justify my comics. I read them once, I put them back, and I could read them again. But it's like it's not like a keyboard where I could actually use it for something and like repair the keys if they break. But I don't know.
It's also coming from a man who's got this sitting on his desk. Like I have a Japanese copy of Pokemon Green on my desk, like
in a case that cannot be opened.
So like, I mean, take what I say with a grain of salt here.
True. Anyways, back to the show, everybody. Sorry, got a little sidetracked there. TV. So, Chris, before you talk about She-Hulk, I finished season 5 of Cobra Kai, and I love this show. Okay, and what I gotta say about season 5 was, going into it at the end of season 4, I'm like, okay, can they really like drag me along for another season and like keep me interested? And holy shit, this is one of like my most favorite seasons out of all of them. And to be the 5th season and do that is pretty cool. So like it ends on like a cliffhanger where they could do a 6th season, and they probably will. I wouldn't be hurt either way if they did or did. Like if they did it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it because it was still some pretty good quality this season. But that shit was awesome. And there are some D&D scenes. It's pretty cool. Some of that, there's like a nerdy guy that makes a lot of like, pop culture references, but someone was playing D&D in one of the episodes. It was pretty sick.
Nice.
Yeah, love Cobra Kai. I know it's kind of cheesy to like base your life around karate. And the show could have been like easily over in season 1 if someone just called the cops. But you got to solve all your issues with karate is what I've learned. So I'm gonna start karate chopping people.
That's how I solve my problems in life. I mean, I don't know what real adults are doing out there, but
yeah, right. Yep. So I highly recommend that. And then I hear there's like they're doing this stupid thing where I think it's Sony. Sony's like, hey, we heard everybody liked the Cobra Kai show on Netflix, so we're not going to get any of the people involved or make it tied to any of the original Karate Kid shit, but we're going to make a movie. And I was like, guys, that's not how that works.
Is it going to star Jaden Smith again?
I hope not.
Wasn't Jackie Chan in that too? Or am I being super racist and assuming that the Asian guy was Jackie Chan?
When they redid Karate Kid?
Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh, man. That wasn't that long. It was pre-COVID, but like, I don't know, within 5 years?
I think I blocked that out of my brain that ever even happened.
Yeah, the Karate Kid 2010. Yes, it was Jackie Chan. Okay.
Oh my god. Why did
Jaden Smith, Jackie Chan.
Honestly, that should be the end of that. Don't do that shit anymore. They're like, no, let's try it again. 12 years later, we're gonna do it. 13 years later, let's do it. And not the people don't understand. Like, I know this is a money grab for Sony. Whatever, it's Morbin time. You know, they love all that. Is that Sony that made that? Morbius, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, like the people doing the Netflix show for Cobra Kai fucking earned it. Like, they started off with the YouTube episodes, like before YouTube had like a subscription service, and then they were like, okay, well, we don't really want to keep this around. After they had a subscription service, and they're like, we'll let Netflix take you over. And now Netflix has built up such a fan base just because more people are getting to see it.
In a better world, what you would do is you would take, I don't know the original actor's name, I don't really care, but you take him, who I assume is in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
And you make him the guy training somebody, and you just flip the switch, and you make it like an up and coming Asian actor who learns from this guy and becomes the Karate Kid. And then you just do a Creed. You do what Rocky did.
Yeah. But
or you take,
it's just
like, I don't know, you figure something out, but yeah.
It's just weird to me because the show takes place 30 years after the movie, and all the same characters are in it. So, like, why would you have to do a movie that's not related to anything?
You could even tie it in with Cobra Kai, because you could get the guy who runs Cobra Kai, and, like, his son is in it or something. Like, you know, one of his students is in it or something.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah. And just extend the franchise that way.
But that's literally the whole plot to the show.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's literally the plot to the show. Yeah, that's how simple it was. That's all they had to do, and people eat that shit up. But now they want to make a movie not related to the original Karate Kid. Makes no sense to me. Sony.
Well, maybe they want to bring back Jaden Smith because, you know, they want that Will Smith money.
Yeah, I don't think anybody even wants Will Smith anymore. Too much controversy, you know, slapping people and shit. Or maybe they saw that and were like, oh, he can slap a dude. Get him in the next Karate Kid movie.
That dude could train a Karate Kid.
Anyways, okay. Yeah, so Cobra Kai was good.
Sorry. It's Will Smith training Jaden Pickett Smith to be the Karate Kid. And then when they get to the tournament, it's Chris Rock on the other end training the opponent.
Yes. Hell yeah. It's okay. If that's the movie, fucking sold. That's all I need to hear.
I'll go see that movie.
They haven't announced anything else besides just that it's happening, so they're probably testing the waters and waiting for the fan reaction to be like, no, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna make it anyways. Yeah. Okay, so you watched She-Hulk episode 5.
So it'll be short because I don't like this show.
Okay.
Apparently She-Hulk's gonna get her costume. Cool. The court scene.
She hasn't been in costume yet?
No. Not once.
Damn.
The two most important things three most important things from this episode. One, the most interesting thing once again was the courtroom scene, which was why is it the most interesting thing in a She-Hulk show. Two, I do like that they brought in the idea that was, I mean, I don't know, I first came through this idea through Invincible, so I'm going to assume that's where it first came from. But there's somebody that makes clothing for superheroes in this world. And that's where she's going to get her new suit. And then we get a glimpse of Daredevil's new helmet because this guy was making Daredevil's new suit. And there's this whole thing where he's like, oh, we got to put this away. And you see the helmet, and that's like the end of the episode. Other than that, yeah, I'm just waiting for Daredevil to show up. Which will apparently be the final episode.
I mean, that's what I was saying. I'm just going to watch the clip on YouTube.
Yeah. When
he shows up at the last episode.
I just have lots of self-loathing, and I just like to watch things that I hate, apparently. I don't hate it. I don't want to go that far. Things I don't enjoy.
Yeah. I probably am not going to watch it anytime soon. But I have been watching Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry. Rings of Power. Episode, I don't remember, 4, I think. Still a great show. We don't even see the wizard in this episode because there's so many different like character arcs, and they're all really good. We see some more nasty orcs, and I think the big takeaway is that the city of Numenor, everybody, which is the people that were like given like really long lifespans by the gods, who is Aragorn. If you like him, he's descended from the Numenor. They basically don't like elves anymore, and an elf shows up at their door, and they're like, okay, we need to help the elves because they keep seeing visions that the gods will punish them if they don't. So they're like, okay, we're going to help the elves out. We hear that Sauron is like building another army, and that's kind of where we leave off. So things are happening. Game of Thrones.
Rings, Sauron builds an army. Okay.
Yep. And they have to fight. Game of Thrones. I mean, there's way other cool shit, but I don't want to bore everybody. Game of Thrones episode, 5, whatever the hell. This is Hot D, House of the Dragon. Still really good stuff. I think a time jump is coming. You can see where the conflict is really setting up between the families. And Matt Smith's character is an asshole, but he does a really good job at it. So, still really good. Yep.
And if that's all you have for that, jumping in, everybody, hot reminder as you're listening to this, Star Wars Ando, 3-episode premiere. I'm so stoked.
3 episodes? Holy shit.
3-episode premiere, Wednesday, as this episode launches. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm like, so I won't be home till Friday. So Katie and I are going to watch that, and then Rings of Power comes out. So we got to keep up with that. But damn, I didn't know it was 3 episodes. Wow.
Yeah.
I cannot.
And it comes out in the proper day, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Unlike She-Hulk that comes out on Thursday.
Makes no sense.
Sorry, I'm irrationally angry about this.
Yeah. It's because they didn't want to take the viewers from Star Wars when that comes out on Wednesday, and they overlap next week. Movie news. Joker 2 gets an addition to its cast with Jacob Laughlin. Jacob's role is said to be an Arkham inmate and will be key to the movie. Now, when they say Arkham inmate, do you think, like, okay, maybe this will be someone as, like, a key character? Like a Batman villain, I mean, when I say key character?
Yeah, that's what I took from it. I mean, I feel like in the way these movies are made in the world we live in, I don't see a way where this isn't a named villain.
So Jacob Laughlin is really young. I thought I could like look at him and maybe know who he'd be playing. Oh wait, I say he's really young. He's just young in this picture. He's actually 26. So,
but he has like a baby face though, right? Like he
does. He does have a baby face. I'm like looking at him like, who could they? Because he has a baby face, I'm immediately like, oh, he could be what is it? The Toy Master or something.
Well, even like if they say like, let's say he's the Riddler.
Yeah, he could be
like,
a Riddler.
They won't say like, and here's your cellmate, the Riddler. Like, yeah, and at no point will he be like, I'm the Riddler. I think he'll just be like, oh, my name's Enigma, or Enigma. That's my name.
Or think about this. It's gonna be a musical, right?
Yeah.
He's
the jazz man.
The jazz man. Or he's the fiddler.
The jazz man, the worst mobster in all of Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, the worst. I would say the fiddler, or isn't there one Music Meister or some shit? That would be hilarious if that's how they did it, but I doubt it.
That'd be funny too. But yeah, if they go that, I'll give them props. Like, that's ballsy. Yeah. But I feel like it's going to be like one of the people we know, but it's not going to be like them as the villain. It's going to be them as like a kid crook who or something,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. They're going to be. It's going to be it's going to set up their origin. Like, we'll just stick with the Riddler reference. If it's Riddler, it's going to be like, he's just starting to go down that path of like being insane. They're going to try to help him. But by the end of the movie, like, he's the Riddler. Because if we all remember, the first movie set up the fucking Batman origin, and Bruce is still a little kid.
Yeah.
I'm coming in hot this week, Mike.
Why do they have to do that? I'm coming in straight from hell this week. Can't get much hotter than that because I'm way more excited for this news. Constantine 2, it announced the Keanu Reeves Constantine coming back, which had hardly anything to do with DC Comics related at all, which is probably why that movie is so fucking fantastic to me. It's great. Keanu Reeves doesn't have a British accent. Nobody gives a fuck. It's just a great movie, and I've rewatched it over the last year. I think last Christmas or something I watched it. It's a Christmas movie, folks. It's not a Christmas movie. But I love this movie, and I think doing a second one, it's way too fucking late, but I'm going to watch it. Like, they should have did it several years ago. But, yeah.
Yeah, everything you said. It's a great movie. I'm down for it. I mean, Keanu Reeves back he's had this resurgence over the past couple of years, starting with John Wick.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing to do. It confuses me in the grand scheme of what Warner has planned, but fuck it. I'll take it.
They know it's gonna make a shit ton of money, so they're just like, fucking do it.
Like, I'll take it.
For the scene alone where he takes the cross shotgun, it was a shotgun that was a cross, dips it in the holy water and starts blasting demons. Like, that scene alone makes that movie. Or I don't know if it was a cross shotgun or he was holding a crucifix while he had the shotgun. I just remember him dipping it in holy water and blasting away fucking demons, and it was awesome.
Just sign Keanu Reeves up for Doom the movie and do it right.
Yeah, just put him in everything where he's got to fight.
So get the guys who created John Wick, be like, we're going to do Doom, but instead of him being a mobster, he's just going to be a random dude who shoots demons. Have no point to the story, and I will be happy.
They tried to do that, but then they brought The Rock in.
Oh, I saw that in the theaters, man.
Yeah, that first-person shooter thing they thought was going to work. They thought it was going to be the coolest thing since, I don't know, color TVs, and it was not.
Speaking of the theaters, though, I forgot to put it in notes.
Yeah.
I saw a movie this week in the theaters.
What'd you see?
I saw Clerks 3.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I did see that you went and saw that. How was that?
I really enjoyed it. It's not my favorite Clerks movie. It's definitely not my favorite Kevin Smith movie, but it was a good wrap up to that series. A lot of good cameos, a lot of good jokes. You do not expect to get like hit straight in the heart in this movie, but you do. It's a tight like hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're a Kevin Smith fan, it's head over heels better than Jane Silent Bob reboot. And even though there's things that like we've done before, and there's story arcs that you know about if you follow Kevin Smith, it's still a good time, still worth watching. So I really enjoyed it.
Do you think we're ever getting Moose Jaws?
I was thinking about that the other day because I don't think we are now. Because now he's talking about doing Tusk 2.
Yeah, because that was the whole thing he did. Yeah, I didn't hear about that. He did Tusk, Yoga Hosers, and then we're gonna get whatever the hell it's called. Moose Jaws.
Yeah, so now he wants to do Tusk 2, and it's gonna be Justin Long's character basically taking over the role and turning someone into a different type of animal.
Oh, that's pretty crazy.
And I haven't heard him talk about Moose Jaws in a while. Like, he's been talking about the View Askewniverse stuff recently.
That's because, if you remember, I think he was building that universe around Johnny Depp, and because Johnny Depp was like the investigator in both those movies, and that's how he was doing like the shared universe thing. And I forgot what he called the trilogy, but it was like that character, that like French inspector. So maybe he's just not, he doesn't want to do the movie, or he's not going to do the movies anymore with him.
Or maybe they just got put on hold because of everything that happened.
Yeah, now I remember.
I mean, I didn't follow that thing to the T, so
yeah.
Excuse me if I'm wrong, but didn't like he get cleared of all wrongdoing?
Yeah, he did. But who knows? I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, they probably missed the schedule for that, and then like Kevin's got to do a bunch of other shit. He has that show. I don't know if you ever watched it. He does. Sorry, we're talking about Kevin Smith now, but we love Kevin Smith. He was doing that show, and I can't remember what platform it on. It was like almost like a Kickstarter thing where you funded it for. It was a show about like where he ran a dispensary. It was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, I
don't know
never
if it
actually
ever came
watched
out,
any
though.
of it.
Yeah, I watched the first episode because I like funded. I like backed the thing, but I don't know if it ever got released. I think it was just one episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I was thinking a lot about Clerks 3 afterwards, and I think like what I've come to the conclusion on with his View Universe stuff is like Kevin's always written about Kevin Smith. Like that's what his movies are about.
Right.
And I think what loses some of the edge on these newer movies is not that he's gone down a level or that he's not as good as he was, but he's so much more public now.
Yeah.
That like as you're watching Clerks 3, like if you're like me who follows him and like listens to a couple of his shows, I knew the story already.
Right.
Like, and not in the sense of like people have already gleamed that the movie's about making clerks. Like that's the cusp of what the movie is. Yeah. But the different story beats along the way, I'm like, oh, I remember when that happened to Kevin. I remember when that happened to Kevin. Where like his early stuff, like I just discovered this dude and I didn't know those stories ahead of time. So
yeah, that makes sense. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, the theaters.
Yeah. Awesome. I got to get up to the theaters. I haven't been in a while. Not that there's anything. Maybe I'll probably go to the theaters for Black Adam in October. So, yeah. With that, let's jump to this interview with Mr. Dan Price. We'll see everybody on the other side.
And we're back.
So, if you didn't want to check it out from just the title alone, Bigfoot Knows Karate, go check it out now. I mean,
yeah, go check it out. There's a link for a free version of it that you can read, and then get ready for issue 2 coming out in a few weeks on Kickstarter.
Hell yeah. Looking forward to it. And looking forward to talking about comics.
Good comic news this week.
I know everybody was thinking, 2023, Avengers are going to be 60 this year. I hope Marvel does something. Chris, I know that's what they're all talking about in the comic shops. When they go pick up their pull list, they go to their comic shop owner and they go, gee, comic shop owner, Avengers turns 60 next year. I really hope there's a whole slew of books that I can throw my money at.
We were all real worried. We didn't expect it to happen. We thought they would just ignore it. It was heartbreaking until we got this news.
And now here we are. With this comes a new Avengers miniseries set in the Silver Age era of 1963 Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's Avengers. This title is going to be Avengers Warcross Time by writer and legendary DC Comics writer-editor Paul Levitz with art by Alan Davis. The series will see the Avengers take on a villain, Kang the Conqueror, suited to be the MCU villain and celebrating his 68th anniversary. Okay. Honestly, though, this is pretty fucking hype.
This is hype for multiple reasons.
Yeah, so like I'm shitting on the anniversary stuff because even DC does it, but this is how you do it. Go back to the 60s.
Yeah, and it's funny with Avengers, like Marvel's done it a few times. I remember Mark Waid did one that was set in like the old Avengers continuity that was really good. I shouldn't even say continuity, the old Avengers series, because it's all continuity. But what's hype here is Paul Levitz, who has never worked at Marvel.
Yeah.
And he's known as the guy at DC for a long time. So that's hype right there. Alan Davis coming back to do Avengers work, who's a long-time Avengers artist. That's hype. And then just, like you said, it being set in that original era with Kang the Conqueror, which Kang's going to be everywhere, everybody. Like, he's in the MCU. Yeah. We're going to get a buttload of him in the comics, but I'm fine with that because Kang is awesome. I'm going to buy the fuck out of this book. I'm
going to read this, folks. And only just to see Kang the Conqueror in his original goofy fucking costume, because they better keep all the original costumes if this is the 1963 Avengers.
You know, like, even though Paul is a DC guy, you know, like, he's an old comics fan, and he's gonna like working with Alan Davis, who's like an old comics fan too. They're gonna be like, "Oh, we got to do the goofy costume." You know, they're sitting there all excited about it.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, come on, you got to do it. So that's pretty cool. Good job, Marvel. We'll let you have this one. No more anniversaries next year, though. That's it. Miles Morales is getting a new #1, new creative team in December. New series will be written by Cody Ziegler, art by Federico Vincentini, and will bring the character back to street level roots, as well as a team up with Misty Knight. If you're a Miles Morales fan, you're probably pretty excited. I think the team up with Misty Knight's pretty cool because she is a cop, right? I think she's still a cop after she loses her arm. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a minute since she's been in a... Oh, no, she was in that really bad Captain America run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's still... Either that or she's like S.H.I.E.L.D. or something. I forget now, but... Yeah, I like Misty Knight. Obviously, I love Miles, so I'll check it out. I haven't read anything Cody's done, but people really like that Spider-Punk book he's doing. So...
Oh, yeah.
I hope. And also, he's going to be back in the old costume, which I'm happy about, because he's got like this new costume in the new book. And I'm not really down with it because I'm an old curmudgeon man, and it's like designed to be like a street hip hop spray paint thing.
You're like, no, give me the old costume.
This isn't my costume.
He's comic book guy from The Simpsons. Everybody. This is interesting, and I'm not interested. Wanda Maximoff is getting her own series this December titled Scarlet Witch. New series written by Steve Orlando, art by Sarah Pichelli. Okay, that team up is pretty fucking dope, though. Alongside a new status quo, Wanda will get a new costume designed by Russell Dodderman. Okay. We got Steve Orlando on the book. This is the dude that made Midnighter cool. This might be a good book, everybody.
Might be. I will not be reading it.
Yeah, this is gonna be like one of the first trades gonna come out. And people are gonna be like, "This fucking rocks! This was such a good book."
I'm like super hit or miss with Steve Orlando.
Yeah,
like I've tried some stuff that I like. I've tried other stuff that I just don't get into. Sarah Pichelli, that's going to be a beautiful book. I can tell you.
Oh yeah, not to take away from Sarah Pichelli, because it's team up on this book, fucking great. Sarah Pichelli's art is fantastico. So
yeah. So, and then Russell Dodderman, like one of the great artists out there right now, redesigned the costume. That's pretty cool too. But all that together still will not get me to buy a Scarlet Witch book.
Yeah, I haven't read all the Steve Orlando stuff. Like you said, it's not all for me, but I do understand the hype. I mean, there's a reason he gets some good rep, especially for like the Nightwing shit. So,
people love Steve Orlando. Love him, and that's just I'm not one of those people. That's all.
Now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but he was doing DC stuff, so putting him on a Marvel book's pretty big, right?
He's been over at Marvel for a little while now because he did he did the Darkhold book, he did the 2099 book. He's done a few things. Yeah, he's been over Marvel for a minute now.
So maybe he always does really good with these single character books rather than like teams. So. Marvel has announced they'll wrap up 2022 the same way they wrapped up 2021 with a new one-shot titled Timeless. Much like last year, it was written by Jed MacKay. Okay, love me some Jed MacKay. Unlike last year, the art will be done by multiple artists, including Salvador LaRocca, Greg Land, Patch Zurcher. The one-shot will once again set up the next year of Marvel comics and events. I think that's cool. Why not?
Yeah, I liked that last issue. It was a setup book, but it told a kind of cool story with Kang.
Yep.
And I assume this will do the same. And then, it was literally, one splash page that was just here's what's going to happen next year. And then it went back to the story.
Yeah.
And then at the end is when we got, the big tease for Miracle Man, which got everybody hyped. So, I'll be picking it up. I liked that issue last year, so... Yeah. Fingers crossed it's good again.
DC has announced that what is to come after the Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, which I noticed that the last issue they added that to the title, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, okay, so we'll fix it in the trade, everybody. After the event concludes, a new era of DC Comics will be titled Dawn of the DCU. Oh boy. Little is known about what's to come in the Dawn of the DCU, other than the new reorganization of the DC multiverse, that the JSA books are part of the new initiative, and one new one-shot announced this week. Yeah.
We'll stop there because we'll talk about the one-shot next.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like this was expected.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing they did with the other ones.
I guess we're just getting like a hard reboot.
I see people kind of shitting on it, and I think as long as the next... I mean, okay, this is my only problem with what they're doing, is it feels like every time they end it with a big crisis.
Yeah.
I'm okay with them, like, setting and, like, starting a new story arc, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Like, an overall story arc for the universe.
Yep.
I think that's okay, but, like, let's not end this next one with the crisis, because, like, let's all be honest, like, what was it, Dark Knight's Metal? Like, that was a crisis. Like,
yeah, right.
We all accept that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's my only gripe, is, like, let's not end the next one a crisis, please.
Yeah.
Let's just end it at something big that, like, sets up a new status quo and start a new story arc. But as far as them just like, all right, this is the end of what Joshua Williamson wanted to do with the story arc for the DC Universe. This is the new story arc for the DC Universe. I'm kind of cool with that being the way they're going to do their books moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, though, I just hope the books are better this time around, because I was not down with this last one that much.
Yeah.
With some obvious exceptions.
And then we get this, the one shot that's coming out, Tales from Earth 6, a celebration of Stan Lee. The comic will feature stories from creators like Mark Waid, Jerry Ordway, Kenny Porter, Stephanie Williams, William W. Conrad, Becky Cloonan, Zach Thompson, Steve Orlando, Megan Fitzmartin, Colin Kelly, Jackson Lenzig. Earth 6 in this new DC multiverse will be the universe created by Stan Lee in the infamous Imagine if Stan Lee created the DC Universe series. Yeah, so this is more of like a celebration of Stan Lee. But it's pretty cool, I would say. I'm going to probably check this out.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check this out. I think this also sets up precedent for me, going back to the last story, that they're definitely reordering the DC Universe. I think they're getting rid of the Omniverse and just having a multiverse like they did in 52.
Yeah.
And this being one of them is really cool. Like, that's it's a fun series. It's not the greatest series in the world, but it could be mined for some cool things. So, and fuck, that creative team lineup is unreal.
You got a lot of heavy hitters on there for sure. Yeah. Stacked. Boom Studios has announced new series from writer Mattson Tomlin, artist Lee Bermejo, very good artist, and writer team up, called Vicious Circles. It's a 3-part sci-fi epic that follows two men who have been cursed. Each time they kill, they involuntary travel through time and space, and they're trained assassins. So I could see where that'd be a little big problem on their lifestyle.
Yeah. So Tomlin was the guy who wrote that Batman book. Well, he wrote the Batman movie, most recent one, and then he wrote that Batman book, The Imposter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably check it out based on how much I loved The Imposter. So
yeah, I know it was a really good series. And Lee Bermejo's art is fantastic. So
so big get for Boom Studios.
Yeah. Huge news from Source Point Press as they're teaming up with Hustle and Heart Films, Cullen Bunn's production company, for three new comic series. Cullen Bunn will write a new horror series called Nightwalkers with artist Joe Baccardo, and the other two have not been announced. Awesome. We love us some Cullen Bunn, so maybe we can get him on the show to talk about it. And I love me some horror, so...
Yeah, this is another instance of a smaller publisher getting a big name. We talked about a lot with Scout and Zach Kaplan. Yep. And this is even another level. Like, nothing is Cap. I love Cap, but Cullen's big. And for SourcePoint to get that, that's huge. So we're seeing these smaller publishers start to make some more of a name for themselves. So that alone is the reason I'm really excited for this news. Even if what was the book called? Nightwalkers may or may not be for me. I think it's vampire related based on the images they've shown, and if that's the case, I'm in. But yeah, you love you some vampires. With that, let's talk about what we read this week. I read a whole whopping 3 comic books. Oh man!
So, yeah.
Have you beat?
Really?
It's been crazy. A lot.
Okay. Yeah, things in my life have been really crazy last week, and it's going to be even crazier next week. So, I'm hoping to. The problem is so when I travel on a plane, like I can read comics, but dude, I fall asleep every time I go to read them on a plane because I'm usually traveling super early in the morning.
Oh yeah.
And I'm or late at night, I'm getting home and I'm just I doze off every time. So I'll get halfway through a comic and fucking wake up and forget where I was. I'm like an old man now, but sorry.
I have a pure anger for my coworkers have been leaving work early all week.
Nice.
Just going home reading comics.
Good for you, dude. That's the way to do it. Black Adam, The Justice Society Files, #1. Adam Smasher #1. Sorry, this fucking title's so long, I forgot what I was saying. The writer is, I want to say Kevin Scott. Yeah, Kevin Scott, Travis Mercer on the art. This is the origin story of how Adam Smasher gets a suit, because without a suit, he's just a big, giant, naked dude running around the city. It was actually a pretty good issue. He's trying to... kind of explains his powers. He's chatting with his uncle who used to be the original Adam Smasher, and how he needs to take up the new mantle. So he meets up with Hawkman at the end of the issue. I thought it was pretty solid. And then there's a backstory with a couple of the characters in Kondak. So all in all, these issues have been great. I'm excited to see these characters on the big screen. Highball #1. This is an Ahoy Comics book, everybody. Stuart Moore wrote this with Fred Harper on the art. Art is fantastic. Highball is a intergalactic space hero, smuggler, pilot dude that gets super drunk, and that's how he outperforms everybody else. So it's about as ridiculous as you think. They pretty much need him to go on so they're recalling. I almost want to say this is a slap in the face to. Not a slap in the face, but poking fun at the Tom King series with the Strange Adventures series, because it starts off with how did what happened on the mission, and he basically meets this other alien race on a mission, and there's a nuke there, and he's they're holding us hostage with this nuke, so he just shoots the nuke and it blows up their whole planet. And then they come back and they're wait, so you just shot the weapon to get rid of it? And he's yeah, so now they don't have the bomb. But the problem was he snuffed out an entire star when he did that. And yeah, so I think there's going to be some repercussions from that. But yeah, I thought it was a great issue. It was a lot of fun, so Stuart Moore killed it. But it was definitely poking some fun with that first mission at Strange Adventures. Yeah. And then the last book I read this week, Batman vs. Robin #1. Robin shows up in the Batcave, and he's pissed off at Batman. Alfred is back for some reason. We knew it wasn't going to last long, so the person to bring him back would have to be Mark Waid, I guess. someone is messing with Justice League Dark, and Batman gets like kicked out of his Batcave, so he's got to go with Alfred and figure out what's going on. And then we find out that the Devil Neza is behind it all. Yeah. So, and he says something about dark forces, and it shows like a lot of the like Justice League has been defeated. So we see like Stargirl's scepter, we see Dr. Fate's mask, just a pile of like dead heroes shit that Devil Neza is sitting on top of. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. I mean, I wasn't really going to check this out, but then when they got Mark Waid on it, I had to check it out. So, but what did you have this week, Chris?
So I'll go quick through some from last week, but Dudley Datson, the Forever Machine #2, was really good. It kind of explained there's this whole like secret society of inventors that throughout time were trying to protect the Forever Machine.
I did read that book. That was good.
Yeah, I really like that series. The new Champion of Shazam #2. I'm kind of softening on this book. I don't know. Did you read #2 yet?
Yeah, I did. I did read #2. I read it last week, but I forgot to talk about it. Yeah, I think. I mean, it was awesome when she like turned in. I don't know, like the villains were kind of weird because they're like zapped her energy and like beat the shit out of her. So I don't know what's going on anymore. Because the villains seem like tech based.
Yeah, I like the superheroes. Like I like her, and when she's Shazam. Yeah, and I like the villains too. Like the villains are goofy enough for me.
Yeah. I thought it was better than the first issue. Let's say.
Yeah, sure. But the set dressing around it is kind of, I don't know. But it's only 2 more issues, so I'll probably finish it out at least.
Yeah.
Canary #2, another comicsology book from Scott Snyder. I really like this book. It's an Old West book, and this one has the lead character going back to the town where he was made famous, the town of Canary, and like how the town reacts to him, and then what's going on there, and then obviously there's something with the mission that he did as a U.S. Marshal that everybody thinks went one way, which made him a legend, and they're really hinting that there's something there that didn't go the way he claims it did.
Okay.
A really good book. I love the art in it too, because it's so spaghetti western, like just brown. And I know I usually am just like, oh, colors. I love colors, but it just works with the Old West.
Nice.
The Ward #4. This is the last issue of the series. I'll say all in all, good series. I really enjoyed it. I thought the ending was satisfying, and I kind of hope that they do more. They set up it ends in a way that sets up a new status quo for the hospital and the community around it, and could lead to an interesting volume 2 if they decide to go with it. So, cool. Suggest picking up the Ward when it comes out in trade, everybody. And then the stuff I read this week. Seven Sons #4. It looks like the one son who got away and was kind of trying to figure out what was going on behind the scenes of the church. He figured out that this guy who was into cloning, when he got this guy was in the Vietnam War, and he had this friend who was with him who died, and he spent his whole life trying to learn how to clone so that he could clone his friend and bring him back. And it seems like there's a conspiracy behind that in the church, that actually all these descendants of Christ are actually clones of somebody.
Oh, cool.
But they didn't really confirm that. They just kind of hinted towards it. But a really cool series so far. Jurassic League #5. I won't spoil too much because I know you didn't get to it, but really fun.
You get to see the big bad.
Did you read it?
No, I'm just guessing. I know they teased that we'll see the big bad next issue.
Well, last issue you saw who the big bad was, so you know who that is.
Yeah, Darkseid. Yeah.
But there's 2 really big moments in this. It's a lot of good. It's more like just straight superhero stuff. Really fun book.
I love it.
Mindset #3. This has now gotten us to the point where we've gone through them developing the app and bringing the app to market and all this stuff, and you see all these behind the scenes of like how one of the firms that wants to buy the app, they actually own the company that the app is using for cloud storage. And so in order to force the kids into selling it, they shut down the cloud storage so that their app is useless. Like all this cool behind the scenes, like tech stuff. But the long and short of it is it gets us all the way back around to where the first issue was. So I think it's one more issue and we'll get back to kind of where the story started in the next issue. But I really enjoy that book. And then one, I don't know if you saw this or not, but Census #1 on Comixology Originals. This is a Mark Bernardin book.
Yeah, I saw that pop up. I gotta download it on Comixology. Yeah, I forgot.
So the basic idea of this book is that this guy is coming out of college. He can't find a job in the thing he studied in college, and he goes and tries to find this job with what he thinks is the Census Bureau. And it's actually, it is the Census Bureau, but it's the Census Bureau for like mythical creatures.
That's awesome.
And he doesn't realize that till he gets to his first assignment, and he ends up meeting up with these 3 women and asking them a bunch of questions, and they're actually all succubuses.
Oh boy.
I won't go too far into what it goes to, but it's a lot of fun. I liked what he did with that story. It was kind of cool. And I'm definitely going to be checking out the next issue of it.
Nice.
Daredevil #3. I keep thinking that like Daredevil's tying up loose ends and is going to move on to his next adventure from New York. But once again, this issue, Daredevil is tying up loose ends in New York. Ends up meeting with like Mayor Luke Cage, having a confrontation with him. We see kind of these the Starwinds or whatever they're called, who are this behind the scenes like backers in New York that were kind of a part of what happened in Devil's Reign. And Daredevil ends up meeting up with Foggy Nelson and telling him that he has to come with him by the end of this because somebody's out to take out everyone that cares for Matt Murdock. And there's also the cop from Devil's Reign, like he tries to get him to join him as well. It's just him going around trying to get people to be like, come with me on my adventure. And it's really well written. It sounds stupid when I say it. I am enjoying it, but it's just like I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, like let's get to the part where he fights the hand.
Yeah, right.
The all new, all different Savage Avengers #5. This was exactly where I thought I was gonna end up. Like it's a wrap up to Conan in the MC or the Marvel comic universe. He gets his send off, and apparently they're gonna keep doing the Savage Avengers without him. Because the rest of the team ends up going with the Deathlock and traveling through time to try to get back to their normal space, but they go too far, and they end up in the year 2099 and meeting up with Punisher 2099. So I'll be interested to see how they do the book without Conan, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And then Maskerade #1. This is the new book from Kevin Smith as part of the Secret Stash Press. It seems like it's this vigilante, this woman who has this mask that she can copy anybody's face with.
Okay.
So she ends up finding this guy who is obviously like abusing prostitutes and all this other weird stuff. And she has some past with him. So she goes and saves this prostitute that he just had his way with. And ends up abducting him and setting him in this cage. And she says, like, you're only the first. More will be to come. And then reveals herself. And I'm guessing in the next issue we'll get more of who she's supposed to be. Other than she kind of looks like... I don't know if these are flashbacks or not, but there's this thing with this influencer. And it's her under the mask, but I don't know if it's actually her because she has that weird mask thing.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was a good book. It was really good. Not what I expected out of it. And Mike, I just want to end with one more.
Okay.
What if I told you, Mike, there was a comic about a rooster who fought demons?
Oh, hell yeah.
But not just regular demons. Kaiju demons.
Oh my god. What is this book?
And then at some point in this book, he ends up meeting up with a turtle and sparring with the turtle to help him fight another demon. Well, that book is called Rooster Fighter Volume 1.
Oh, hell yes.
This is the weirdest shit I've read in a long time.
That doesn't make it bad, though.
Listen, he's got a simple backstory. His sister was killed by a demon, so now he's going from town to town in Japan to try to find the demon that killed his sister. He fights a different demon in every chapter of the story. Meets some friends along the way. And yes, Mike, I know you were asking, there is a chicken on chicken sex scene in this as well.
That's what I was hoping for. What the hell?
If you're looking for something goofy and different with some really good art as well.
It's a manga, right?
Yeah, it's a manga, Rooster Fighter Volume 1. Really, really enjoyed that.
That's hilarious. I gotta check that out.
So, Mike, that's everything I had this week. Where can people find you on the internet? You
can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and/or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter, and you can find the show at Fortress Comics _ on Twitter or at FortressComicNews.com, where everything we do is right there on that handy dandy website. And everybody, if you want to support the show, remember ways you can do it are to give us a review on the podcast of your choice, whether that's Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, whatever you use. Review the show, and if you're watching this on the YouTube version, to like, subscribe, share, comment down below. And if you want to go that extra mile, there's the Patreon at patreon.com/fortresscomics. So thank you all for listening and watching this week. We'll see you all here next week.